Republicans are also mad at General Milley because he is quoted, or at least his views are represented, in several of these books about the final days of the Trump administration. And it's clear General Milley was worried about the stability and what potential decisions might be made. Marsha Blackburn, Republican of Tennessee, just decided to put it right out there. He had been asked a couple of the questions earlier about some of the episodes. She just decided straight out, essentially, to find out, how much did you cooperate?
General Milley, yes or no to this? Did you talk to Bob Woodward or Robert Costa for their book, Peril?
Woodward, yes. Costa, no.
Did you talk to Carol Leonick and Philip Rucker for their book, Alone Can I Fix It?
Yes.
Did you talk to Michael Bender for his book is Frankly, We Did Win This Election, the Inside Story of How Trump Lost? Yes,
Yes.
or no? And were you accurately represented in these books?
I haven't read any of the books.
A little bit of comedy at the end there, but we should all be texting our sources right now, making sure they don't get invited to hearings where they're under oath, I guess, if we're going to ask these questions up there.
And potentially we know who to call if we decide to write a book as well, John. But he did suggest that he talked to almost all of the authors, and while he hasn't read those books, he said he certainly acknowledged he's seen the media coverage, isn't exactly disputing all of what was said, although as you raised some things that he said he did say to Nancy Pelosi or didn't. But the point being that there was a primary source. He's just admitted it was him.
He did dispute, though, that he was accurately described. I'm sorry.
Right.
In the very top, in his prepared, he devoted a very sizable chunk of his prepared remarks, of his opening statement, to saying, no, at no point was I trying to hem in the President of the United States. At no point was I making secret calls to the China. I mean, he and that's all. Obviously, we can say that's a bank shot.
I didn't mean to say to Pelosi that I believe that.
Yeah, he said he didn't read the books. He clearly closely read the media accounts and the media conversations about the books. To your point, what he said was, I am not qualified to determine the mental health of the President of the United States.
But it goes back to the threat about civilian control of the military, too, because what was so amazing about some of these books was that they were clearly suggesting that he was stepping outside the bounds of that constitutional divide. And he took pains, and the others took pains throughout this entire hearing to say, no, we believe in civilian control of the military.
So I think it was obvious that he had spoken to some of these authors. If you read the books, it's a two-way conversation that he had with someone. So it was pretty clear that he had participated. So I do think it's notable that he said that. But I think the larger point is that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff felt the need to sit down with these highly respected authors, talk to them about his experiences in this role, being handpicked by Trump, someone who, of course, has now turned on him and views him quite differently. But I do think it speaks to the level of gravity that in this situation, regardless of what you think of Milley, of what that they felt like they were facing when Trump was president.
You're exactly right. But if there was a kind of a camera on us while we were watching that, it was a moment to watch the chairman of the Joint Chiefs be asked whether you talked to all of these authors, boom, boom, boom. Yes, one-word answer, affirming it. It was definitely a moment. It was affirming what was pretty obvious, but to hear him say it, I guess he didn't have a choice. He was asked under oath.